Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Not Your Average Josh back here for another movie review, and today I'm reviewing the movie Elemental, the new Pixar film directed by Peter Sohn. But before I get into my movie review, as I say always, if you're watching this, hit that like button if you enjoyed this video, or if you just want to offer some support. Also, leave a comment down below if you have any thoughts on this movie, any other Pixar films that you may like or dislike. Also, hit that subscribe button as well. If this is your first time watching any of my videos, or if you're a returning viewer as well, any support is always very much appreciated for this channel. You can also follow me on TikTok and add me on Snapchat, where I will post content similar to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. So again, I appreciate all the support, but let's go ahead and get into this review of Elemental. As I mentioned, this movie was directed by Peter Sohn and written by John Hoberg, Kat McKay, Brenda Sui, and Peter Sohn as well. And this movie follows Ember and Wade in a city where fire, water, land, and air residents live together and sees if their unlikely love story will have a happy ending. I was born in 1998, so I grew up on Pixar films. I absolutely love so many of them, all the Toy Story films, Cars, Up, of course, you got WALL-E in there, Inside Out. They have just so many classics over the years, the Incredibles movies. So anytime a new Pixar movie comes out, I'm definitely really excited. And this movie, since I saw the trailer, just definitely seemed like a great idea right off the bat. Definitely reminded me of Zootopia in a lot of ways, and watching this movie, I can definitely say there is a lot of comparison just how the world is in this element city. And per usual, this movie is beautiful to look at. Pixar animation just never fails at all when it comes to that. The way they bring all the elements together, the fire, land, air, and water, all of it combined in this city, definitely again just reminds you of in Zootopia how they dealt with the animals in their city, and then here, of course, with all the elements. It's just a really cool idea right off the bat, and I will say that is what the majority of this movie really relies on. There is so many funny gags in this movie pertaining to all this stuff, like with water and land mixing different stuff. There'll be a sponge that soaks up water. All the different funny gags when fire might just touch a tree just a little bit and all the leaves go out. There's just a lot of different funny elements they do with that throughout this movie that really takes up the majority of a lot of scenes, I will say, when you're just traveling around the city. But the two really main plots in this movie is, again, Ember and Wade really following their love story. They meet. Ember is working in her dad's fire shop, if you will. Then all of a sudden they have a leak, and Wade is a city inspector, and that's how they kind of meet. And basically the main plot is them, their love story. Will they end up together? Kind of that really classic story, that tried and true story, a Romeo and Juliet type situation here, where can they coexist, fire and water? And you also have, again, the other plot with this movie, the reason why he is there and he met her, this leak that's going on in their fire store, if you will, the store that her dad built that she is supposed to take over soon. And she has to figure out how to stop these leaks from happening. Water keeps coming in. And then also dealing with the fact that her dad expects her to take over the shop here pretty soon. He's going to retire soon. And for the most part, I thought they dealt with this in a little bit of a different way than we've seen before. There's a lot to this movie that is very predictable and very by the numbers, especially in terms of Pixar movies. So in that way, this movie doesn't feel as fresh as I was kind of hoping it would, I will say. But the way they deal with Ember and her deciding, really not knowing at first, she has this, they really do fun play on, of course, fire, and how she has this anger problems and she can't control her temper, her temperature, if you will, and she constantly is getting mad and flame out at the customers when they're maybe little kids are acting up in the store, for customers not doing what they're supposed to be. She has this tendency to flame out, and they do that. There's definitely a repetitive quality to this movie at the beginning, with a few situations that pop up with Ember getting too mad and overdoing it. And she starts to come to this realization that potentially she might not want to run this store, run this shop for the rest of her life. And I thought that was a little bit of a different twist on this, where usually a lot of times at the beginning of these stories, we already have our character. They know they don't want to be a part of this, and they're just trying to find some way to tell their parents. She really came to the realization herself, and she's really happy at first. You see her, she seems happy, and she starts to realize the reason why she's been angry. She's not really happy with the situation. So it ends up going into that classic story of following your dreams. Is it worth it? Can you do it? Will your parents be okay with it? Kind of a lot dealing with that. And then again, intersecting here with the love story of Wade and Ember. And yeah, this movie, again, is just really a by-the-numbers Pixar movie that you've seen plenty of times before in different ways. And really just the difference here is dealing with, all these fun, interesting ideas they have here, concepts with all the elements in this world. And if you compare it to a movie like Zootopia, I think I still like that overall, that world. I think it was a little more immersive. I wanted to explore it a little more, whereas here, I just feel like they're all kind of combined in one area. Zootopia had still little split off areas where some of the animals still lived, and really the main area we explore with that is just the fire area that's kind of separate from all the rest of the big city, if you will. The world wasn't as explored as I might have liked, and again, it didn't feel quite as fresh despite the really interesting concept they had here as maybe I was hoping for. But I think overall it's still going to be fun. Kids are going to still really enjoy it, and there's still has a little bit of adult humor thrown in here every now and then, you know, for the family, for the parents that are bringing kids to enjoy at times. And it's a little bit under 2 hours, so not too long. The movie did really kind of fly by. The story is very enjoyable, entertaining to watch. There's really nothing to complain about in terms of that. And I thought the voice acting here, not a lot of really well-known people in here, at least maybe that I know. Maybe they are more well-known by other people. But I do have to say, Peter's son, he was just the voice for Genki in the Across the Spider-Verse movie. So it's really cool to see him directing this movie and also having some writing credits on that. Really, the only names that I recognize is Wendy McClendon-Covey, of course, as Gail. She's really funny in anything she's in. She was a nice add to this this cloud lady here in this movie. And Catherine O'Hara as Brooke. Always great to see her in anything. So those are really the main two that I recognize, and not really even a big listing of cast here in terms of like the main cast that gets a lot of the speaking roles in this. More of a contained, just nice story, and I think this is an overall solid addition to the Pixar films. Probably falling in like the B area of Pixar movies, which isn't an insult or anything. Pixar, the great track record they have, this is definitely a good movie that I think is not going to necessarily be a classic, but I did still enjoy for the most part overall, despite, again, not being as fresh as I might have hoped it would be. Okay, also had to mention there is a short before this, classic, one of the classic Pixar shorts that they usually show, and it is of Carl from Up. Him and Doug are back in this. It's called Carl's Date, about how he's about to go on a date. And it's a really cute, nice little short before the movie starts, about 5 to 10 minutes. And honestly, it was all right through most of it. I was like, okay, this is nice to see Carl and Doug again, the dog. But it actually gets really pretty emotional at the end of it. Like, it really did touch me. A little bit of a callback to Up, really pulling at your heartstrings again. Definitely got me emotionally prepared for the Pixar movie that we're about to watch. So yeah, I definitely had to mention that. Really nice Pixar short before the movie started. That's my main thoughts. I'm going to give Elemental a 7 out of 10. Not necessarily one of the Pixar movies I'm going to think right away to go and revisit and watch once it's on Disney Plus or anything like that, but if it's on, if I happen to just want to watch a Disney Pixar movie one night, it wouldn't be one that I would necessarily turn away from right away. It was a fun time, but what do you guys think? Do you plan on seeing this movie? Do you care about Pixar films at all? What is your favorite Pixar film? Whatever thoughts you have, leave a comment down below. Also, leave a like if you enjoyed this video, and hit that subscribe button as well if this is your first time watching any of my videos, or if you're a returning viewer as well. Any support for this channel is very much appreciated. You can also follow me on TikTok and add me on Snapchat, where I will post content similar to this. But for the most part, my content will be here on this YouTube channel, Not Your Average Josh. So again, as always, I appreciate all the support, really. Still just getting this channel moving along. Going to be getting to a year since I started this channel, and I appreciate really any subscriber that I get for this. Just still doing this when I can. I just love talking about movies and TV. But that'll be it for now. Again, for the rest of this month, I'm reviewing a few other movies that are coming out. Asteroid City, the Wes Anderson movie, the new Indiana Jones movie coming out at the end of the month. I'm doing a review series for all the other Indiana Jones movies, hopefully leading up to that. Hopefully I will get all those out in time before I see that one. But if not, we'll work it out anyway. But I'll be looking for more videos very soon, and I will talk to you guys later.